Good morning, viewers. Rise and shine with Global Entertainment News Morning Board. I am your host, Busola, ready to kickstart your day with all the fresh news and stories. And right here with me, bringing a host pack to the studio is Bella. Let's dive into today's headlines, fresh from the Daily Post and the Nation. Today's top story from the Daily Post: alleged rights abuse. Reid urged U.S. lawmakers to pause arms sales to Nigeria. The Simon Ekpa-led Biafra Republic government in exile has willed United States of America lawmakers in Washington to pause sales of arms to Nigeria. It made the appeal through its acting Prime Minister Ogechukwu Okere, citing alleged rights abuse. It was reported that the two major Biafra activists, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, are currently in detention. While Ekpa has been convicted in Finland, Kanu is undergoing trials at a federal high court in Abuja. In a statement on Monday, Nkere claimed that in the first half of September 2025, he met with Congressman Brian Mast, Republican Florida chairman of the House Armed Service Committee, and Congresswoman Lamoni Cow, with a motive to seek end to arms sales to Nigeria. He said the request became necessary following alleged human rights abuses in the southeast region, including the detention of Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, by the Nigerian government.
Um, the France in Nigeria and also equipping them with arms is actually another disaster for Nigeria as well. Well, the reason why the Biafranas are still actually fighting the government for their own state and their own country is just as simple because it feels like they don't want it to be involved in whatever mixture that has happened before in the olden time where Nigeria they say they want every tribe and every part to actually be in united. Oh, I don't ever expected it to be this prolonged with the government because I was expecting a simple things that every other countries have actually go for this, like let me say the US and the Black American, even though they are still staying in, everybody actually have their own state and country, and then they are still living in peace. So
Together.
I was expecting the government to actually just give them their own space and then allow them to also have their own country to themselves and then rule to themselves, and no one is going to actually have to come into anybody's business because the way Nigeria is actually is now, the let me say the Yorubas is going to feel like they wanted to do things their own or they wanted their own people to be in power. The Hausa and the Igbo, like the way it was actually going on right now in the power or political system. So let there be a separation and then let everyone know how they can actually fend for themselves and also survive. The term of Simon Epa and also Nnamdi Kanu, they have been on detention for so long, and then Simon Epa at the fine land of being on trials here and there on actually equipping arm to terrorists to actually terrorize. All that is something that needed to be hearing about, and then saying that the United States doesn't want it to actually give out arms to Nigeria anymore. They should know the specific people they don't want it to. They don't want it to give arms to, and those that they actually wanted to give arms to. Not right now that we are actually the Nigerians are actually facing let me say terrorism and banditry, and then they needed equipment to actually face those people, and then they were going to be like because Simon Epa is actually buying arms for the people of Biafra, the army of Biafra to actually fight people to stay and obey their rules and regulations. Then they are not going to give arms to Nigerians. Armies, security personnel to actually face the terrorists is affecting all the Nigerians, and I feel like something needed to be done as soon as possible.
Yeah. All right, to our next story. 9 arrested in Taraba for NNPC pipeline vandalism. Taraba State Police Command has arrested 9 individuals in connection with the vandalism of a Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) pipeline along the Kano Mountain and Midas axis. According to a press statement issued by the Police Public Relations Officer, James Samino, on Tuesday, the arrest was made on September 15th 2025 at approximately 10:13 a.m. following the intelligence reports that suspected vandals were actively tampering with the pipelines in the area. Those arrested were identified as Apollos 20, Isa Aminu 20, Ahmad Aminu 15, Kamal Abubakar 25, Solomon Tanko 20, Simon Matthias 19, Victor Kanu 26, Dogara Patrick 21, and Emmanuel Apollos 20. Several items including 30 cut-to-size pipes, 3 long welding cylinders, 2 short gas cylinders, 2 shovels, chains, scissors, 3 each, 3 hammers, and 1 vintage rigid tools were also confirmed to have been recovered from the suspects. The suspects and recovered exhibits are currently in police custody as investigation continues, the police said.
Things about vandalism in Nigeria has taken another a very big turn in the hills, and probably they do this mostly on company properties and even government development and all that, which is actually something that is not even supposed to be. We see other countries. Let me even use the nearest country like Ghana here and all that, and there some things that are made by, let me say, those street lights. After 1 year that is being done, you saw some of them are already falling out and then being destroyed because they wanted to vandalize it, and the bridges as well, and all that is actually very very sad, or let me say it's very very bad for us to be witnessing all this, or for us to be doing this sort of a thing that is inhuman at all, because trying to actually destroy things that have been making use for like to be useful for us, and then you are destroying it, you're going to give discouragement to whoever that wanted to actually do the next good things for us, and then it's not supposed to be so. We should always take caution of where we needed things and then how we need to do things, but not this way out, and it's not supposed to be.
Yeah, you said it all. All right, so our next story. Woman arrested for flogging girl to death in Abia. A 68 years old woman, Mrs. Victoria Madubuko, in Bedenluk LGA of Abia State, has been arrested by the police for allegedly flogging a 22-year-old girl, Ineme Eke, to death. She committed the act with a native cane known as Okwete after an altercation. This was confirmed by the Commissioner of Police Abia Command (CP) Danladi Issa when he addressed journalists at the police headquarters, Umaya. He said that the victim, Nene Eke, fell sick as a result of the flogging and was taken to Tochi Hospital, where the doctor confirmed her death. The CP, who said that the corpse of the 22-year-old girl had been deposited in the mortuary at Ake Elu in Bende LGA, disclosed that the suspect, Mrs. Victoria Madubuko, was arrested by the police, while investigation on the matter is still ongoing at the State Criminal Investigation Department, SCID Umaya. In a related incident, the CP said that a 31-year-old man, Chinozu Shuku Emeka, from Abayi village, was stabbed on the chest by one man, Chima Obi Uweye, of the same address during a scuffle about a business transaction.
I would say that this is actually a disheartening incident to actually hear or listen to, and it's very, very bad. So, domestic violence on child laboring, let me just say child laboring, because you put in but this one is actually an adult at the same time, which 22 years is no longer a child, and then beating up someone to the point of actually killing that person is actually a very, very big offense, and it can actually lead you to let me know say it can actually it's going to lead you to imprisonment and all, and it's really a bad and a sad one for anyone that could actually think about. We can't continue living like this. This is not the first case that we are hearing. This is not even the second case, but it's always turns out to be like this. That whoever that putting a child under your care, you ended up abusing that child, laboring that child, all in the name that this child is not your own, and it's sad. It's going to give so many orphans to think that they are not belonging enough in any kind of a family. So this thing, the government and then Human Rights Act needed to actually look into this and then make sure that everything is being done accordingly.
Yeah.
If you know that you can't take care of your own child and then you wanted to give it out, you are going to face the law for that. So instead of that, have the numbers of children you know that you can take care of instead of having dozens of them and then feels like you needed to share it around and then be collecting money. It's really sad.
Yeah,
So they have to give a control to childbirth and all that.
yeah, yeah. All right, so our top story from the Nation newspaper. Southwest car dealers protest alleged extortion, harassment, illegal fees at customs Ondo office. Scores of car dealers from the southwest states yesterday staged a peaceful protest in Akure, Ondo state capital, against the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS) over alleged incessant extortion, harassment, and illegal duty fees. The dealers, under the umbrella of the Association of Motor Dealers of Nigeria, stormed the Alagbaka office of the NCS, where they submitted a petition to President Bola Tinubu demanding urgent intervention over what they describe as unwholesome activities of custom officers at checkpoints, armed with placards bearing inscriptions such as "We pay duty, stop the harassment, customs, uphold the laws, no extortion, and our demands are legitimate. Do not destroy our business." The protesters blocked the entrance of the custom office, chanting solidarity song. The dealers alleged that despite paying official duties in Lagos, their vehicles were often intercepted on highways, subjected to fresh checks, and slammed with arbitrary inflated fees. They accused custom officers of demanding illegal payments ranging from 200,000 naira to 1 million naira, while sometimes impounding vehicles cleared at Apapa port under the excuse of watch list or other internal designations.
Well, custom and their duties is really, I would say that they're actually trying to do their own work, but when it comes to the parts that when the custom are no longer trustworthy or you can't actually be so considerate towards people's business. Some people's business have gone down the drain, and then the next thing you find it in their home, sharing it among themselves, and what they actually say is that it is of, let me say, not good for the to be sold, or how will I say it? Then the next thing, they are already sharing it among themselves. They give you this kind of a large amount of money that you needed to pay so that you can clear your goods, but at the end they still don't, some don't even want it to return the goods back because they find it valuable. They have, and those people is not this is no longer how the, let me say, how it's supposed to be working. If you really needed to do the work of your duties very well, you needed to protect the country from, let me say, these imported goods that are not actually good for the citizen, then you have to do it with the right caution. You don't just take things and then at the end you have to share it among yourself, or you throw some away that you know that those ones are no use for. You give it to your family just because you, this is greediness. It's becoming too much for the custom. If they have already made payments at the Apapa port and then they still come back to their hometown, then they still needed to clear the custom, it's really a bad step. Over and over again, it's a bad step. If it was being cleared at the on those ports, and I know there was no port in Ondo, if it was being cleared, or they have to come to that place. You all have to have a database that the port has already cleared them of these goods, so they have to be moving freely. Not for them to clear their goods from the Apapa port and then still come down to where the base, and then they still needed to clear another goods, which is an extra money being spent, and then at the end, those that are being the consumer are the one that is going to be paying higher for it. This is the way inflation keep on getting higher in Nigeria. The goods are keep on getting expensive. So all these things needed to be looked into and let the government do something that needs to be done. If they are not ready to work diligently and truthfully, then they should relieve them of their work.
That's just it. You said it all. All right, so our next top story. Okpebolo okays 1.2 billion naira for disengaged workers. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has released 1.2 billion naira as the first tranche of payments to workers of College of Education in Iki-Adolo and Ugwu-Ebem who were disengaged during the administration of former Governor Godwin Obaseki. The payment is part of a total of 4.6 billion naira earmarked for the settlement of entitlement benefits of the affected workers. Those to benefit, according to the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Okpebholo Fred, are 682 pensioners from College of Education, Eki-Adolo, and 32 pensioners from College of Education, Ugwu-Ebe. Itu said the first tranche has been disbursed to the disengaged workers and retirees of the two colleges in adherence to Pension Act of Nigeria. He said Governor Okpebholo also approved release of 292 million naira as the second tranche of pensions entitlement to disengaged workers of the College of Agriculture, Iku Arichi and Agene Bode.
The reason why I'm actually smirking is because I feel like those things were actually not the actual amount that is being mentioned here. Even if there is going to be like he wanted to settle the pensioners and those that are on a relief work, I feel like it's not the exact amount that was being given that is going to be shared because the local governments and all those ones that are actually involved, every Nigerian politicians are actually good at looting money, be it the smallest one to the highest one are actually good at looting money. Those people are still going to come out in the nearest times to actually protest for this, that this money were never given or it was never given completely. So we really need to make sure that everything that is being done is done digitally, is done with a clear mind so that everyone can actually live in peace. If the local government is implicating the federal government or the state government, there have to be a way for them to be fished out. So all these things would not be coming up together that the governments are not doing anything, or the federal government is not doing the state government is not doing, the local government is not doing anything. And then we should know who and who is actually involved in bribery, looting of money, and corruption. Then all these things needed to be fished out one after the other. But covering up for ourselves, because we already know that that is what they are good at. When the money is being looted, the state government, I don't know about it. The local government, I don't know about it. The federal government, I don't know about it. So they are going to start, I don't know about it, and then
it is being closed up. The case does go down.
It's being closed up. That is very sad. So everything needed to be open, and then everyone should know how this thing works. If those people needed to be done through the CBN transferred directly to their accounts, then they will know that their money is coming directly, being paid directly. So there's no need for ups and downs in it. That's just
sincerely, I feel if the government starts doing that particular thing, it will cause a lot of things, because in this Nigeria we need transparency, accountability, like a lot. See, if once these things are being done, sincerely, Nigeria will move forward, Nigeria will change. All right, up to our next story. NCOS foils attempts to smuggle drug into Kuje Custodian Center. The Nigeria Correctional Service (NCOS) said yesterday that it foiled an attempt by a man to smuggle substances suspected to be psychoactive drugs into medium security custodian center Kuje in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). Its public relations officer, Mr. Samson Duza, made it known in statement. Duza said a man identified as Ikedi attempted to visit an inmate on Saturday while concealing items suspected to be cannabis sativa and other psychoactive substances in his clothes.
Well, let me tell you that every part of the country actually deals with when it comes to smuggling in drugs and all that. Those that are still in the prison are actually wanting to high up and then be in an hallucination to just forget the state that they are right now in that position. And it's all of that. But it's actually good for the NCOS that actually caught this person off the act, and it's good. So it has to be let me say a borderline that it's going to give a correction to the rest, and then nothing like that is going to happen.
I feel whenever anybody wants to make a visit to anyone, any of the inmates, they should be searched thoroughly. I think that will stop them from taking in anything into the correctional center. All right, thank you for joining us today on the Breakfast Show. I've been your host, Bisola. I hope you enjoyed today's program. Be sure to like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.